Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Woo! I done spilled coffee all over the house. I shouldn't say that out loud, but just really on my notes. I bumped it, but y'all know there would be no show if I don't have no coffee. Let me say good morning to the brides in the studio.
Like you were a little confused about what we was.
I was gonna say so slick, but I thought you just got back. You just got back.
We gonna start. I mean, you know, it's already Tuesday, and it's supposed to be Monday.
Tuesday.
You know, it seems like it should be Monday.
So I'm actually gonna act right.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You've never done that.
Definitely gonna act right.
Never done that.
Let me say good morning to the bros. What's happening, Devo? How you doing today, sir?
I'm good.
Or do
tired.
you say Mr. Devo?
Tired.
Tired? Why you tired? What you do?
Well, y'all had the day off. I was here.
Wait, hold on, bro. Just because I wasn't here don't mean I was off.
And then I was here Sunday because Sister Sharon went out of town. And I was here Saturday and Friday.
Hold on, wait.
I haven't had it.
Hold on. I need to get my violin out the case. Hold on, wait.
Yeah, you got any cheese to go with that wine?
let me get. You know what? It took me a long time before I was working in a PWI situation. Yeah. And I saw this white guy doing this with his fingers. Wait, how did he do it? He was doing something with his fingers. And I was like, somebody was talking. He was just sitting in the meeting doing this.
Whining.
In the violin strings. Yeah. That mess was so funny. And all the white people knew what he was doing and they was laughing. And I was like, I know he's doing something, but what? And he was playing the violin with his fingers. Yeah. Oh my God, it was so funny. I was not
complaining at all. Certainly
it's too late.
The
you
day.
already said everyone else is at home.
You know, it's nice to be here and nobody's here but you. So nobody bothering you, nobody spilling coffee on their notes.
Wait, what?
Nobody asking you for nothing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
Sounds a little like you were spurning your coworkers and not wanting to be bothered with
take
us.
it as how you will. I mean, you know.
That's all slick, bro. That little cross code needs to do.
I was disappointed to find out, Michelle, that not to throw anybody under the bus, but guess who?
That's the first time he about to throw somebody.
Guess who showed up yesterday to work?
Who? Carvey.
Yeah, he come calling him up. Where everybody at? At home, where you supposed to be?
Wait a minute, Carvey. First of all,
he was here at 6:30.
Did the station management inform you that you were off? Yeah. Oh well, I ain't got no for you then, bro. I was going to try to help you.
I won't repeat the comment that I sent back to Mary Ellen in regards to him showing up on his day off.
It was 6:30 and you was here.
Yeah,
6:30 sharp. Oh,
how did you feel, Carvey, upon arrival and? At whom though? Good, as long as it was yourself.
Carvey.
That is not good, Carvey. And I don't even know why I mentioned that. I shouldn't have brought that up.
You already said not to throw anyone under the bus.
Yeah, I wanted to divert, get you up off of me.
I'm about to run him right over.
Head on. Huh?
I'm about to
I just thought that was so cute that he showed up on his day off.
Did you think it was cute?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I'm with Carvey.
What?
It wasn't nothing cute about that. It's nothing worse than you get up, actually like shower, do everything.
Right.
Whole routine.
Yeah,
and you realize you could have been in the bed. Come on now.
So what did you do after you left here, Carvey?
I actually didn't go to sleep. I went to go.
Carvey said he didn't go home and go to sleep. He prepared his life. Carvey said, I prepared my life.
Cleaned up
my room. Hey, I'm sorry. A clean room is like one of the first little things in having you be about your business.
So did you cook yesterday?
Then he said he read a book. His mom.
She did. Okay. Did you assist?
No.
Oh, did you try to rub?
Dude. Yeah, I tried to rub. You always try to get at somebody.
No, I was asking, did you try to rub?
I'm talking about when you talking to Carvey. Did you assist?
We're past that. We're past that.
Oh, we passed that.
What about that good breakfast we had over the weekend?
The good breakfast.
Awesome. Well, you were here, Michelle.
Yes,
yeah.
I was. Yeah. I was. Yeah. I actually fixed a plate before I went down to Kenosha.
Glad I got mine first.
Why?
It was a lot. It was a lot though.
I didn't see you no more. Once you said, man, you better go up there and get you some of this. I didn't see you no more. What'd you do?
So
I got mine back gone.
what Carvey is referencing the young people for the Center for Entrepreneurship. Is it CTE teaching? The Center for Teaching Entrepreneurship had was it an anniversary kind of situation or just a celebratory
I
breakfast?
forget exactly how Doug labeled it, but
Okay, and they had catered in food. And Doug
I think it was the anniversary of the radio program itself, not necessarily CTE, but the program. Yeah.
And so they catered in food, and the young sister whose catering company did the food did an excellent job.
She did. I mean,
the food was outstanding. That etouffee with the shrimp.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Over the grits.
Yes, Lord.
Oh my Lord. Make
yes,
it hurt.
Lord.
Where my mama at? Come here, mama.
Yeah. I just want to say, yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord. That's pretty good there.
She threw down on the grits.
She did. I
and
thought
the shrimp.
Chicken and waffles were good. I maybe would have done a tender versus.
See.
Yeah, as a cook, I'm just
get a compliment.
You're gonna critique.
Don't add your
but it was delicious.
Don't add
the flavor was there. Certainly, the grits appeared to have like a little cheese in them, which was delicious.
Did.
Yeah,
you know what?
Delicious.
It's whatever. Did you cook this weekend?
French toast. I saw turkey bacon, regular bacon.
Did you cook this weekend?
I did.
You did.
And I used the rub, and it was actually good.
I did use the rub this week.
It was actually good.
Yeah, I did ribs. I did the rub.
I did spare ribs. I didn't do a whole lot because I didn't want none of you people coming by. So we deep fried some catfish. Spaghetti.
Bro, you didn't want none of you people.
I'm talking to my cousins. I'm talking to all my cousins and folks that did not get a call telling them to come by. Oh man, what you done did? Oh. Yeah, but yeah, you know how you this is that holiday. Yesterday was where you don't want a bunch of folks,
I mean, it's
just kind of ease on
it's
out
that
of the
last
summer
holiday. You chill.
Yeah, I just
because you've been ripping and running all summer,
right?
But somebody was saying they was gonna wear some white so and so in place, and everybody kind of looked. You could tell the divide in the room because all the older people, we still and a little young person, they was like, we still on that. Like we have moved on.
What
you can wear white
after Labor Day.
White after Labor Day.
Yeah,
we said you can wear winter white. After, like, and old people won't let it go. Like, nah, fam, you cannot bust out white. It's interesting. We received a invitation to the White House. I'm letting you know now.
Mm-hmm. that you're gonna be out.
Yeah, on September 13th, I will be at the White House. I'm letting you know.
Okay.
But I received one. Rep Myers received one. I know other people here in the city. They're doing a brunch called Black Excellence, and so got an invitation to that. But down at the footnote on the invitation, it says white attire suggested. And I was like, white? Who you got on your staff that's culturally incompetent? We don't wear no white after. I said, I bet you're somebody black that's young, because nobody over, what age would you say? 45?
Yeah, but you know what that attributes to?
What?
They're definitely black because they're having an all-white party, and they ain't want to call it that.
But you can't have an all-white party.
But they didn't want to call it that. So
after Labor Day, you can have an off-white party after Labor Day, but you can't have an all-white party after Labor Day.
You feel like
if
you don't wear white, you might not be dressed.
I'm wearing off-white. I'm not wearing white. I gotta stay true to my raising.
And what is the significance of that? Is it seasonally? It just doesn't look as pleasing, or it gets dirty because you're getting into the dirty season?
Let me see. I don't know.
I mean, slush, mud, dirt. I mean, rain, snow.
I know I wear winter, but I wear winter white now. I wear winter white.
I understand.
And I look good in winter white.
He said frost white.
Carvey said, what is winter white?
Is that what frost you was talking white. About that I had on at my party? Winter white?
No. Yeah, you got to have on more winter white than white.
No.
Because winter white has a little creamy feel to it.
More of a off-white.
Yeah, it's an off-white.
I thought that was
Yeah, what? It's too much?
The regular white.
No, it's a difference. You can tell summer white.
So like that's kind of an off-white you're wearing.
Yeah,
there,
this
correct?
is almost a winter white. Yeah, but it's a little dark,
especially
the shirt. It's a little dark,
right.
but yeah, it's creamy. Harvey, we ain't got all day to educate you.
So today is the last day, or yesterday was. Today you should not be wearing.
If you have a certain age, because like I said, young people don't care. They don't understand the rules.
Right.
But speaking of young people, today
Mhm.
everybody going back to school.
Yes, they are.
It's parents in the house right now going, yeah.
It's quiet.
Get them out of here.
Lights out.
Yeah. I got my house back.
Give
It's
it
about
back,
to stay
child.
clean.
But it was rough this morning.
It-
Because, that first day, especially if you got more than one kid, everybody's scrambling. Move, give me that. Where your book bag? Get this.
No, not if you organize.
Well, yeah, for me, because
Book
my
bags
stuff
is
was
lined
laid
up at
out
the
last
door.
night before
Clothes
last.
laid out.
Yep,
Oh no,
that
but
laid
we
out.
rolling you up out of here, right?
Get that shower. Shower.
No, in our house they did say shower.
Well, there's some houses that
I
came up, it was a shower.
Well, wait, did I say good morning to you, Carvey? Good morning, Carvey.
Oh, sorry about that.
So Michelle's gonna be talking about you on the radio because you came to work yesterday. Yes, I am. I just
Who sent that?
But
Mary?
I just his mama.
Oh, good.
But I just want to do it in the afternoon when I can be ridiculous about it. So yeah, I'm gonna burn you later. I didn't want to say nothing, but I'm gonna burn you later.
But I think that's a form of dedication.
Really?
To come in on your day off.
What you call Papa Bear?
No, it's a form of dedication.
It's apropos for so many reasons.
And what it really speaks to is the fact that it has become a habit to just get up and come here. In spite of what your mind is supposed to know, you just get up and go to work.
It's easy to forget. It's easy to. Carvey,
Nobody forgets a day off.
I'm not going. Yes, they do. I have. Carvey, I'm not going to let them.
Never showed up.
I'm not going to let them come
when they told me I didn't have to be there.
That's because you don't be trying to come when you're supposed to be there. But anyway,
really?
As I was saying, today is the first day of school.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody sent the text this morning. I think this came out of Cincinnati. It said, good morning. Nope, wait, let me see. Yep. It said, good morning. I am wishing all of our babies an amazing and productive first day of school. Callers, I see y'all trying to get in. Let me just say this. Parents. Hopefully you had the talk with your students as they were getting ready to return to school. Now, many of us know the talk. We have different variations of the talk, but there's supposed to be a talk. How to behave in class, how not to talk crazy to your teacher, how you need to keep up with your things this year, how you need to be responsible for your own work, and knowing when your deadlines are for reports and projects and exams. What the expectations are for grades. Too many people focus on you got your hair done before school started, which is important because you want children to have good self-esteem walking back through that door. We focus on what kind of gear you got on, what kind of shoes you got. All those things are important because, again, you look good, you feel good, you act differently. You look crunchy, you feel crunchy, you act crunchy. And yes, I say crunchy. And, and you take your crunchy and you spread it around and you just mess up a whole room. So we know that the optics, the appearances, all those things are important. But I'm going to say this, and I got to go to break. Callers, if you can, hold with me through the break. I can take the callers. Well, here, let me do this. Let me take the callers now, and then I'll go on the break. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Is that me, Michelle?
Yes, it is.
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Harvey. Michelle, I'm going to start this conversation out. That's a white people mess.
What?
They did a thing about how on TV the other day on how the white wearing after September, and it was after the bougies, after the summer ended, they packed their white stuff away. So they say that's how not wearing white got started. It wasn't a general rule. It's just that, they, I guess they call white their summer clothes.
Okay.
And so then they backed away after that, and that's how the tradition got started.
Okay.
I always wear what I want to wear. I never got down with the type of rules, wear white. I feel like wearing white, I'm wearing white. Now, as far as school, you're absolutely correct. But now I got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. No more sleeping in late. And you know what's funny, right, Michelle? During the summertime, except Amir, because Amir is hard to get, he be hugging the pillow. I don't care when it is. But his big brother, Eamon, that dude be up at 6 o'clock in the morning. During the school year, you got to like get up. Any other time, he up before everybody else in the house. So, yeah, the only thing I don't like about school is that you got to get up so early in the morning to get them started. So, I lose a little sleep, so I probably try and take a little nap after
After they go.
get them out of the door, yeah. Because
All
once
right.
you get retirement under your belt, you like your whole life changes after that,
Yes, it does.
What happened to y'all on Friday?
We had technical difficulties in terms of our service provider.
Oh, okay.
Let me just say Spectrum. But yeah, we had the system went down. I think they said like around 4 a.m, and they worked all day to try to get it back up. So yeah, we had technical difficulties on Friday.
I hope they credit y'all some money back, because anytime they go down at my house, I'm telling y'all gonna give me some money.
Come on now, you know it.
So I hope they gave y'all somebody off y'all bill.
Right.
All right,
All
y'all.
right. Thank you, bro.
God bless y'all all.
Yep, appreciate you. Carby, can you help me get the next call? Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
Okay, this Dorothy.
Hey, Miss Dorothy.
Hey, how you doing? I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to come down because my leg was messed up, was hurting real bad.
Okay.
And one key on passed, so I didn't get a chance to come there. I really hated that, but I was with y'all. It was our prayers with everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
But what I was,
No, go ahead.
What I was saying, you were saying people get up and get ready. I got up and got ready one day. I was driving a motor coach, right way motor coach. I got up and got dressed, going out the door. My friend said, "You off today?" I got dressed.
Yeah, like it happened. People do that for real.
Yeah, I'm used to going to work every day.
See? Yes,
but
ma'am.
I'm retired now, though. I can sit back and watch y'all work.
Well, you know what? Just rub that in, Miss Dorothy. Go ahead.
Okay. Y'all have a good day.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. I could not hear Miss Dorothy's voice and not think of Keon. Lord knows he loved when she called the radio station. And the way he's Miss Dorothy, the way he would say her name. Speaking of which, real quick, I went over the event that was held at Atkinson Park this past Saturday, in honor or memory of Keon. It actually was featured on the news this weekend. It was a really cool event. I went Facebook Live so folks could, go back and see what the community had come together to do. But everything from free shoes to free clothes to haircuts to hair braiding. The community got fed. There were grocery giveaways, community resource fair, or resources were out there. BMO Harris was present. The Milwaukee Police Department was recruiting. I have to go back and look at everybody that was there that I saw, but it was a really, really cool day. And I know that, and they had a beautiful banner that was suspended high in the trees with Keon's face and his name. Homer Blow was out there doing the music. It was just a really, really cool event. And I know that my brother was looking down like, that's what I'm talking about. So to the folks that organized that event, and there were a number of players at the table. I don't want to start naming folks because I don't know everybody who did it. So if I can just do a blanket thank you to his family, to the community organizers, the different agencies and organizations that he partnered with along the way. It was an incredibly beautiful event. And like, I swear to God, I had to leave because I started tearing up because it was everything that he worked for. And then I stopped by Dr. Finlayson's home to say happy birthday. Did the little drive through the circular driveway. And I just want to say the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha, Dr. Finlayson is an Alpha. The Alpha men showed up. They was in the building and they were directing traffic. They had the crew out there. Everything was like real smooth, able to go through, talk to him and his family. I met his granddaughter, beautiful little sister. And so when I tell y'all, that was another cool way to pay homage and respect the folks who have been so vital to our community. So kudos to the organizers of that event as well. It was really cool. All right, I gotta take a break. I'll be right back. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. So George is absolutely correct. The caller called in and said, "Hey, Michelle, white aristocrats started to don't wear white after Labor Day. Folks that would, vacation in the Hamptons and Rhode Island, and I don't even know if they officially had the Hamptons back then, but to show refinement and a transition from seasons, they would pack away their white, which meant the end of summer, and their summering, as Keith would say. And, we're getting ready for the fall. I will just say this. I hear George in respect when he says, hey, I wear whatever I want to, when I want to. And I certainly concur and agree. But it's been so embedded in my head now. Like, I'm still going to look at you crazy when you show up in October or in November. And this is the thing. It depends on the weight of the white. Like white linen. No, you can't show up in white linen. Nobody but Frankie Beverly could do that. And even Frankie Beverly got black in the fall. Instead of wearing white, he would wear the black stuff. You can't show up in white linen in November because it's linen. So it's too thin, especially messing around in Wisconsin. But thanks, George, for that little bit of education on why the whole thing around white. But before I move on to some other stuff, I really want to back up and go back and hit this piece about these kids starting school for the first day. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Some of our children, it is the luck of the draw, who their family members are, who their parents are, the environment that they grow up in. Some of our kids are behind the 8 ball before they ever step foot out the house, because you live in a situation in which you have parents who don't fully appreciate what it means to be at school on time, ready to learn, what you needed to be taught before you ever walked in a door, to be ready to be engaged and on track. There are people that just their priorities are jacked up and they don't understand. I just had a conversation. I was talking to my own son, and they're going to take a vacation. I mean, they're going to take a trip in December. And, my son was saying, when he was telling me when the trip was, and I was like, oh, is Atlas out of school? And he said, nah, he only got a couple of days though. And I was like, hey, don't start that. And he's like, Ma, he in kindergarten. Don't start that. Don't start it. Because people pay attention to your attendance record. You can have a stellar academic record or a good academic record, but you mess around and log in too many absences, particularly unexcused absences, as people are making decisions about admitting you to the high school of your choice, to the middle school of your choice. They're going to look at a number of factors. While your grades are important and probably the most important factor, they're also going to look at attendance. And, I saw this cute little thing, and I think I mentioned it last week, where this mom posted this thing on TikTok where she said, let me tell you something right now, don't start it, because you done went all summer, ate all kinds of trash and, hot flamings and just garbage food day in and day out. And we let you do it because it was the summer, and your stomach didn't hurt not a day. Not one time did your stomach hurt. Now all of a sudden school start. Oh, my stomach hurt. I need to stay home from school. Don't start it. Don't start it. These kids need to have a butt in a classroom seat every day. And I mean, other than near death, or they got something contagious that can make other children sick, they need to be in a classroom. So parents, don't be falling for the okie doke and don't participate in it. Don't participate in it. I don't care what's wrong with you. If you ain't dying, you on your way to school today. The other thing that I will say, somebody had texted me something and they said, somebody said they will go all the way back to elementary school regarding your attendance. Thank you. Somebody else had talked about, when I said you get that speech, about how to behave on that school bus, because you can't get put off the bus because I can't get you to school. I have to go to work, or we don't have a car, or whatever the issues are. People have provided you with the ride. You better have your behind behaving and on that bus. Somebody said, can we also try to encourage our parents to have a working relationship with the teachers? I'm coming. Because, yeah, we got conversation for the students and we got conversations for the parents. Yes, a working relationship with the teachers. These people did not enter the profession, for the most part, I can't speak for all of them, to hurt your children. That's not why they decided to invest, 4 years and then more certifications and more training, 6-7 years. Some of them have master's degrees. Some of them have acquired a PhD. They didn't invest all of that just to make your child's life miserable. They did not. So how do I have a working relationship? I don't have to like a teacher, but I do have to be able to communicate effectively with this teacher so that I understand what's going on with my child. Please stop going into the school with your child is always right, because they not. They ain't always right at the house. Why would they always be right out in public? And if we tell the truth and we know our children, then we know we need to listen better to what's being said. Academically, there was something that just came out that talked about, let me see if I can pull it up. Hang on. So there was a story that just came out that talked about Milwaukee, and we were ranked worse again for something. In terms of schools, we've been showing up in the top schools around the country. But I'm going to tell y'all that's in part based on a handful of public schools and primarily suburban schools that have put us there. There are things that we can do as a community to make sure our children excel. Parents, number one, somewhere in your house on the refrigerator, even though I don't put stuff on my refrigerator because that's tacky and I don't like it, but on the refrigerator, or at least on the side, it can't be on the front. When I open my refrigerator, I got to see all this mess flying off my refrigerator, but that's just me. But somewhere in that house, there needs to be the graduation date written. Graduation date for elementary school, graduation date for middle school, or if you don't have any of those dates, you just had a big date, the graduation day for high school, and or the graduation day for college, trade school, whatever. But there needs to be a goal that these children see every day when they moving around. I'm working towards this. Every day is about this. Everything I do, every move I make, it is about this. Understand me. It's about doing this so I can get to graduation. Because then graduation gets me to the rest of my life. And I've never been one on big on vision boards and all of that. It's just not something I personally do, but I understand the value in it. And I understand the value in doing that kind of physical thing, activity with your children. So you can ask them, where do you want to be? If they're old enough to answer those questions, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to live? What kind of house do you want? What kind of car do you want to drive? If they're old enough to answer those questions, then the conversation has to be, so then we understand that every day, every choice that we are making either gets us to that goal or it pulls us away from that goal. We either on the road to achieving those things, or we taking a different path that's going to lead us exactly where we said we didn't want to be. And every day has to be a reminder. Every week has to be a reminder of what's going on. Somebody said, that is my son every day. He told me before school started that he was going to be sick on August 14th. Like, what? Hang on, let me go back and read that again. That is my son every day. He told me before school started that he was going to be sick on August 14th. Okay, that's crazy. So I'm just saying, there are things that we can do. Hang on one second, because I'm signing up. My grandson down in Georgia, his school has a thing called Muffins with Mommy. What is it? Donuts with Dad, and they have grits with the grandparents. So I'm going to Georgia, so I can go to grits with grandparents for my grandson. And I'm flying in. I'm going to have some grits, and I'm flying back out the same day. But that's that important to me, that I show up for him in that way. There is a role for all of us to play. Some of us know we got trifling family members. We do. We see them. And so where we can say something to help those parents, we need to say something. Whether we feel like it's going to hurt their feelings or not, there's a way to say it. But it needs to be said, because at the end of the day, we have to protect these children and give them the best possible start. So there are uncomfortable conversations that need to be had in some of our families. Period. Some of us can create additional opportunities for those children. You know that their parents work all day. It's a single parent household. Perhaps that woman or that father needs some help. And there's an auntie or an uncle or a grandparent or even a neighbor who has some free time that says, I got your kid on Saturday morning. We go into the museum. We go into the library on Thursday at 5 to read books. We are doing something. We can no longer, or we can't continue to let these children fall through the cracks. There is no doubt in my mind, and I know yours, that we don't understand that our children are brilliant when given the right tools and the right access. They are brilliant. We have little young Black children that are tackling cancer. Like this one little Black student, they believe, I think 12 years old, has invented something that is going to help in the fight against a certain type of cancer. We have amazing children, but they're not being given amazing opportunities, and they don't have amazing people in their corner. They don't have people that's willing to go to the end of the earth to make sure that they succeed. It's not important that you gave them an expensive, game or shoes or toys or, backpacks. Now they need to be respectable, because I don't need them getting teased at school. I need that. But I need people who care what they say in front of their children, who don't talk about trash, street, ignorant, ghetto nonsense in front of their babies and let their babies think this is how everybody operate. I need that. And I need parents that don't work so hard that you don't turn around and pay attention to your children. You think because I got a roof, I got clothes, I got everything that my little heart desires, my tablet, my phone, my da-da-da-da-da, it does not substitute for your time. It does not substitute for your time. Many households in which people are doing very, very well, but their house is lackluster on some outward expressions of love and support. If I had it to do again, I would go back and change the number of football games I missed that my son played, because I missed damn near all of them because of working. His grandmother, same thing I'm getting ready to do for my grandson. His grandmother would fly up here to see him play football, just to say she saw him. I could never figure it out because I was always at work. Even in households in which people are well paid and highly functioning, you can still have a situation that creates a problem for your children if you're not paying attention. We have to, as we start a new school year, make sure everybody's mind and head is in the game. We got to continue to apply pressure, pay attention to the school board as a community, not just parents, but as a community. I got to figure out how to make that a part of my routine. We have to figure out how to create opportunities so that our children understand it is so much to life. It's so much to see. It's so many opportunities waiting on you. And some of them are not predicated on how rich your parents are. Because academically, your mind will open doors for you that in some cases your parents' pocket cannot afford. Opportunities to travel, opportunities to visit new places and go, into rooms that you would have been like turning around going, I can't believe I'm here. If you apply yourself, if you study. Instead of complaining about these schools, we need to figure out how to go in these schools and support them. Instead of always trying to ship our children off to the white neighborhood or the South Side and because they schools is better, make our own schools better. What can we do as people to make sure that our children don't have to ride a bus all the way across town just to get a quality education when we got all these schools sitting right here in the district, right here in the neighborhood? My baby could get up and walk to school like everybody else's child. We have got to get it right. We have got to get it right. We got too much riding on this. The number of kids that are undereducated, underperforming, and then we got a system at DPI that plays with the data. So you don't know if your child is truly in a failing school or not. But yeah, you really do, because you figure out the quality of education, and a whole bunch of worksheets ain't jack. And then you realize my baby's in the wrong place. This is not going to be an environment that helps them grow. So I'm not mad at parents that make a decision to put their child someplace else, because Michelle, I don't have time to build up the local elementary school and make sure they're good. But somebody got to make time. Or all of our schools on the north side of Milwaukee will close and all our kids will be going over to the white schools and the south side. If we don't invest in us, why would anybody else? And even though they already in classrooms, if you see them, remind these teachers, we need y'all to show up and be y'all best too. We need you to actually care what happened even to that knucklehead. I don't need you to show up tired the first day of school. And to be creative in your lesson plan and to do things that engage these students. There is something, caller, I see you, I'm coming. But there is something for all of us to do in relationship to first day of school. One of the things when Keon was alive, Keon had a number of children that called him basically pop or dad, or he was an uncle. Keon had more kids, even though he had never had a biological child that we used to joke about that we're aware of. But there were certain kids that Keon was investing time into, making sure they got extracurricular activities, that he took them to the movies, he took them to the museum. And so for a couple of those kids who are all siblings, I talked to their mother, and the first thing I said is, I'm going to step in and continue to do that with those children. I'm going to do that. Because I understood how important not only it was to him, but how important it is for those children to continue to have those experiences and those opportunities. And I know that their mom may not always have time to do it. But somewhere in the mix of it, I'm going to find time so we can figure out how to make sure that those children continue to get an opportunity to see other things. And then I will say this. And then I'm going to get off my soapbox. I need y'all to take y'all children someplace. I need them to go places other than to the mall and out to eat. And I need it not to just be in the summer when I can grab a vacation. The ability to take your child to a nature park or on a hike, to take your child to an art exhibit, to ask them, look at this and tell me what you think, to take a art class with your child. I don't care what it is. We don't expose our children to enough golf lessons, tennis lessons that they can take, in the fall. We gotta give them more than what we've been giving. And there are some children, oh my God, the experiences that they are having. I know grown folks that haven't had those. And people like, well, Michelle, all of that takes money. Not everything. Not everything. But if I can find money for shoes and for games and for videos and, I can find some money for that. The Black Holocaust Museum, the Wisconsin Black Historical Society, all the museum, all the stuff that we are not doing. Take advantage of the Milwaukee Rec program. But y'all, I just had Carvey say, I'm walking on Water Street on Saturday night and hold up his arm and show where he got a burn from a bullet that passed him when he was walking with his friends. Carvey 19. Just like that boy could have been gone. I don't know why our children think that gunplay is slick and that stealing cars and swerving and being out here on foolishness is fun, because you ain't seen real fun until they get exposed to some of this other stuff that the world has waiting for them, and you get to wake up the next day. You had all that fun and you get up and do it again tomorrow. But you out here in these streets living crazy and wild. It ain't no guarantee you're going to even make it back home tonight. Caller, I see you. I got to take a break. But just know, y'all, I'm not playing. I'm going to be harping on this for the remainder of the school year. What are you doing to give your child the advantage? Not the basics, the advantage. I gotta go. I'll be right back. Morning.
Good morning, Devo. Good morning, Kari. Michelle, thank you. Thank you so much for the words that you have expressed to the listening audience this morning. They were so important to our community. And I know that there is someone out there that's listening to you. And the ones that are not doing better, I do believe by listening to you, they are going to do better by their children. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. I appreciate the call. And let me be clear. A lot of this is being said out of necessity because in order for this community to be what we want it to be a safer, a thriving a community with economic development, the kinds of things that we want to see that we run and move to other neighborhoods trying to capture, the stronger our educational beginnings are, the foundation are for our students, the better chances we have of getting to that place. And we got some real fights ahead of us as well. When we talk about rolling back civil rights and people trying to remove Black history from textbooks and, what's happening around any number of electoral and political things, obstacles that are being put up in our way, particularly in terms of this community, we gonna need our best and our brightest and our sharpest minds to be able to make sure we gonna be all right. Like, so some of it's actually selfish. And if we looked at it that way, that might change the way we individually, as folks on the sidelines, engage. But I know it's uncomfortable having some of these conversations. And like I said, there's none of us that got it all figured out. From that parent that's struggling financially to keep a roof over their children's head who may even be in a shelter right now, to that parent that folks is paid. We above middle class in this household. We doing the damn thing financially. But there are other things that are lacking and or missing. Somebody said this, and I thought that this was really, really cool. They said that they have family members. They live in one state, but they got family members in another state. And to make sure that they are keeping an eye on the children in their family in other states, they go FaceTime. And they tell that child, you need to read a book to me. Read a book to your auntie. Let me see if I can help you with homework while we're doing FaceTime. Because all of us, we know the way communities are and families are, we live all over the world now. We don't just all live in the same city and down the street like we used to. Because that was something I said that even I wanted to start doing, which is just having story time with my grandson that, hey, 7:00 on Tuesday, you got to read to grandma. I mean, he can read without me. The boy is a killer. But also because I live so far away, to try to establish a connection so that I'm not just like the grandma in the box. Boxes come. I know that's from Grandma Michelle. You got to figure out that quality time. So the last thing I'll say about this is that there are a number of guides and stories that have been written about habits of highly successful students. There needs to be one about highly successful parents, grandparents, and family members. But just a couple. I'm not going to do all of them, but a couple of things that they said. Begin with the end in mind. Graduation. That was one of the things that I said. That every day those kids need to understand they're working towards a goal. When you have something to work towards, you do things and you move differently. Helping children understand how to manage their time. We're not going to be up all night working on projects. We're not going to wait till the last minute Sunday at 7:00 to start talking about what's due for next week. We're not going to do that. So that we understand clearly at the end of each day, school day, what's the assignments coming up? We got a calendar, we got a timeline. So we know when these things need to be accomplished. Asking kids that, like, look, if you don't understand something, don't be afraid to admit that. Let somebody know. And if your teacher don't have time to go back and catch it for you, make a note from me so I can help you figure out what it is that you need. But do not be afraid to ask for help. Understanding that there should be a time and a place for you to study. I mean, there are some houses the kids study wherever they can. They study sitting on the couch. They doing homework while they sitting in front of the TV. Or, they doing homework and nobody knows what's going on. Did you do your homework? Yep. Let me check it. What you checking? Do you know what you're looking for? They just wave a piece of paper in front of your face and then, okay, go ahead. Then you get there in school conference and then you wondering why this kid is like at a C, performing at C's. So there are a ton of these guides out here. It's 4 seconds on a Google search to be able to figure out, or less, what are some things that if I don't have in place in our house, in our family, I can help with to make my child more successful. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? We good? Hey, caller.
Good morning, Michelle. It's
Good morning.
Andre.
Good morning.
Totally excited about this conversation. Just yesterday, 10 of the young men that work with Cage, we work with the young men.
Right.
And we met with them last night, and we were having conversations, what I call conversations of concern. How are you going to handle school this year? How are you going to do better than school this year? They got book bags. Alderman Chambers gave book bags. But a lot of our sons go back to school this year with library cards. They have IDs. They have bank accounts. And a couple of them have joined the Wisconsin Athletic Club. Is where they go and work out. Not at Planet Fitness, but they go in Watertown, Plank Road, and work out. And they pay $68 a month because you got to learn how to pay bills. Part of financial literacy is that.
Oh, my God.
I can tell you this. When a little black boy is called son, and he's never been called one, and he has a man in front of him that is totally on his side, it changes his whole life, and he owes something to that, and he wants to do that. And so your conversation about what we need to do, and this has to come from the outside, because we may not be able to change MPS and a lot of the systematic things that are going on, but agriculture, what we do with agriculture is very interesting to young boys. Vincent High School and their agriculture program, they should really, really get the students involved in that. But I'm saying to you that the more that we hold students accountable and teach them accountability, then the more that they want to progress, especially little black boys. Because a lot of them, like if you got 4 black boys in a car and it's driving fast, I can guarantee you that 3 of them don't want to really be in there, but it's just kind of cool. But the driver, and somebody needs to speak to that driver. So we got to teach young black boys to start talking to each other. I walked in on a conversation yesterday, and one of the boys was saying to the other boys, he was saying to them, listen, this year at school, I'm not running to the fight. I'm running away from it. When they start fighting and doing stuff like that, I'm going to go get on the bus and I'm going to go home. They're not going to be able to say I'm a problem. And that's what we got to say to our young people, and be willing to go and get them from where it is that they hurt, and not keep sending them back to what hurt. The more they learn, the better they become. I'm a witness to that. I'm happy to be going back to the Juvenile Justice Center. In 2 weeks, I start back there. I'll be working in the pods with the young people and bringing them there. We're teaching them hydroponics. We're just a lot of really great things. And the healing house is going up. But we have to empower our young men. And I tell parents all the time, you got to get to know your child for who they are today. Because if they're 16, you can't keep talking to them like they were 5, because they may be thinking of doing something a little different, and they'll go out that bathroom window on you and you won't know where your child is. So you got to get to know your child for who they are today. Thank you for that conversation. And men, go get your kids. Men, you're missing. Go get your children. Thank you, Michelle.
All right. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And, I think about that, that whole concept of, how stuff originally started over off of 9th and Ring, our garden, getting young brothers to come be engaged, finding other adults that were willing to help, because all grassroots, finding other adults who were willing to help make sure that these young brothers got paid to be in the garden, so that they had someplace positive to be. And then brothers and sisters, more brothers than sisters, but coming in to pour wisdom in, to teach, to take this opportunity while we, digging in the soil, talk about life and real issues and things that impact these young people. I can't stress it enough. And when we think about Black male achievement, when we think about how young brothers are faring academically and in the educational system, so many of the things it feels like systemically are designed for them not to succeed. And so we know that when it comes to these young brothers and these boys, we're going to have to go above and beyond, making sure that we keep them focused and engaged and on track. One of the things that people talk about is, what it takes for a community to be successful. It's hard to be successful without brothers. It's hard to be successful without strong men as a part of the community. Like, it's damn near impossible. We don't get to leave anybody, behind. We can't just like uplift our daughters and our girls and make sure they stay on track. And these brothers have to figure it out on their own. It's so important. That work is so critical. So thank you, Andre. I appreciate the work that's being done over at the Cage. I appreciate what you said. And then you made me think. I had gotten a text message. Somebody said Thurston Woods has free environmental events every day of the week. You just never know where our children's interests will lie. But if you don't expose it to them, we'll never find out. Somebody else said if a child wants to miss school, parents need to try to find who they are trying to avoid at the school or on the way there or back. Yeah. If you see chronic absences or, chronic behaviors about children trying to miss school, you as a parent, if you in tune, hopefully you can tell if it seems like your child is trying to avoid something or avoid somebody. So yes, we definitely want to figure that out. But all I'm saying in my initial comments was we can't fall for the okie doke with this. They don't feel good. My stomach hurt. I have people around me that's grown, and every time I talk to them, my stomach hurt. And I just be looking at them like, if I could just tell you literally what I'm thinking, like, dog, can you man up or woman up? The stuff that people went through before us, this right here, I'm not diminishing what's going on, but you talking about your stomach hurt? Seriously? And I'm not talking about no medical illness and no, life and death. I'm talking about you need to take some Pepto-Bismol. Your stomach hurt. But life ain't moving because your stomach hurt? Like, come on, fam. Like, there's a certain level of grit and toughness that we have had as a people that some of it's soft now. And you just like, okay. If that's if that's what you're saying, people call in to work and you just be like, yeah, okay, I got you. And everybody look at you sideways because they know you on some nonsense. I just appreciate you saying, oh, but that's right, you out of vacation days. So you got to take sick days. So I'm terrible today. Boy, go. Stop playing with me. All right, so let me move on. We know that a lot went on Labor Day weekend. As we talk about being in the throes of this countdown, I don't know if we are on like 65 days to the election in November, but we moving. Time is moving fast. And there are efforts to crisscross the country by candidates and to be able to reach as many voters as possible. So I'm going to tell y'all a couple of things. Number one, I've had a number of people reach out to me to say, Michelle, I want to be involved. I want to either knock on doors and talk to people in my own community. I want to, phone bank and make calls. And this is not about necessarily people who are saying, I want to influence an election. I am for this candidate or for that candidate. These are people who are saying, I understand the importance for our folks to show up. Now, what you do when you get to the polls, that's on you. But I need us to put numbers on the board. I need us to be engaged. we can begin to talk about policy and understand the differences between these candidates. But I gotta get you to the point where you understand why you gotta be engaged, why you gotta be at the party. Because it's some stuff that happened. Like everybody in the community tell you, "Oh, girl, I had to be there. Oh, I was going to that." We got to get to that point about voting. I've said from cradle to grave, it impacts every aspect of what we do. So if you're somebody, and I'm going to be putting some information on my Facebook page, but if you're somebody that's looking for opportunities and ways just to, and I mean, I'm talking about churches, D9 organizations, like I just want to make sure we turn people out. Not trying to tell them what to do, who to vote for, but we got to do more. We got to stop talking to the choir, to our own members. How do I get outside of my box and reach other people? Or I had somebody say this to me last week, that she created a text thread with about 20 members of her family. Some of these members are folks that's questionable in terms of voter participation. They have an ongoing thread in their family to say, hey, everybody check in if you good on voting. Do you have what you need? Did you early vote? Do you need an absentee ballot? And like literally the people in her family are responding. Like young cats, like, no, cuz I ain't voting. Okay, well, let's talk to you about why, what's going on. But she just made it her business to make sure those 20 people in her family had what they needed, know what they supposed to do. Like, y'all, we all could do that. Because we all know people in our family that's suspect. Like, when I tell you I found out that one of my people did not vote in the 2008 presidential election, who actually supported Barack Obama, or they thought he would be a good president, but they didn't go vote, I almost had a heart attack. Because if you hear them, they talk a good game. They talk a good game. Like, they can run down the issues. And did you hear what Trump did yesterday? And did you hear what Hillary did? And can tell you all of it and not doing nothing for real, not voting at all. And like, it came up. And I ended up catching something that he said. And I was like, hold on, fam. Did you vote? And he said, huh, what? Don't stutter. Did you vote? He was like, oh, I don't want to hear your mouth. Here we go. Oh, you already know you about to catch this business. Bruh, as much junk as you talk politically, you got an opinion about everything. You telling me you didn't take your raggedy behind to the polls and vote? Oh, y'all, I wasn't no good for the rest of the day. And we all know people like that if we tell the truth. So you know what I started doing? When he started talking to me about politics, I wouldn't talk to him. He was like, well, what you think about? And you know that I talk to people that vote, bro. I talk to people that vote. So one of my cousins, she all extra. Well, Michelle, the way to encourage people is to be supportive. And, if you keep talking, maybe he'll vote. Everybody know you got different strategies for different people in your life. Some people don't believe that fat meat is greasy. Some people don't believe that fire will burn you. So some people you talk gently and lovingly and nurturingly and supportingly to. And some people is straight no chaser. Hey, bruh, we won't be having these conversations because you too trifling to even go vote. What I'm talking to you about? No. And you're not no kid. You're not 19. You're 58. So then I had to ask the question, like, have you ever voted? Y'all, I don't believe this dude had ever voted before in his life. So I kept pressing him. Like, somebody said, my son is like that. I don't talk politics with him anymore. Just foolish. I'm like, have you ever voted? Ever? Ever? Like, never? Bruh. No, sir. I can't do it with you, fam. I can't. Because I just feel like it's a waste of my time. And I'm gonna go have a conversation with people I think I can, bring into some type of understanding about the significance of what's in front of us. So I'm just gonna say that piece. So we're preparing, we're paying attention. It's a lot happening. So in the crisscrossing of the country, we know that we had Tim Walz here, Labor Day. Labor Fest is always a huge day in Wisconsin. And if you are a candidate running for anything, this is where you show up. This is what you come to. And those kinds of events are happening all across the country. Well, phone was pinging. People were asking, like, did you see that the vice presidential nominee, Tim Walz, on the Democratic side of things, that his motorcade was involved in a car crash on Monday, like while they was on their way down to Summerfest grounds. And I was like, wait, what happened? And so you go and you look. So there were vans carrying about 15 to 20 members of the press and campaign staff at the back of Tim Walz's motorcade. And I still haven't figured out yet, like, how all of the details of the accident unfold, but they do get some folks that actually get injuries. They believe one staffer actually had their arm broken. When you looked at the vans, a lot of people have seen the white vans. The vans was towed up. And, so there was actually a Milwaukee Journal reporter and a photographer that was with the media members traveling inside those vans also. And they were following Tim Walz around while he was in Wisconsin. So, you have to understand that these things are going to happen. I've driven in motorcades before. I've driven Chelsea Clinton when she was here in her motorcade. It's a interesting kind of moment because you're trying to pay attention to everything. You're trying to make sure that you're good. You gotta, like, it's almost like driving in a funeral procession, staying close and tight with the police and the Secret Service and the different people that's driving these vehicles. And the very first time I had to do it, I was like, yeah, this is a whole bunch right here. And so, you're a fine driver, but you could be a little nervous and a little antsy and a little jumpy. And then the other part you realize is, as crazy as people are today, like, somebody could take a shot at you because these motorcades are easy to spot, especially in Milwaukee or in Wisconsin, because you don't see them every day. In DC, you see them every day at all times of the day. And you always can figure out, like, oh, who was that? Secretary of State. Oh, that's the vice president. Oh, that's the president. You like guessing who it is moving through these motorcades. Here in Wisconsin, very, very, very easy to spot a motorcade. So I'm glad that everybody was okay. A lot of people ended up talking about it, but I just wanted to make sure that people understood that, yeah, we actually had Wisconsin reporters and photographers that were in those vans and a part of what went on. Now, other conversations that have happened, some that I followed on social media that caught my eye. As people were, I shouldn't even bring it up. I shouldn't bring it up. But I think it's important because, I think that the campaigns have to learn from different stuff that's being said in the community and what's going on. So, Lord have mercy. I don't know how the conversation came up, but presidential nominee and current vice president Kamala Harris was in Georgia. Okay. And one of the things that came up over this Labor Day weekend was food. Because, Debo talked about he was cooking. I was cooking. Carvey's mom was cooking. Folks that's listening, most people did a little something. You might not have did the big shebang, but most people did a little something because it's the holiday. You're supposed to have some food. So in talking to this group down in Savannah, Georgia, Kamala Harris said, quote, I have a friend who had a Christmas Christmas Eve every year. And she asked me to make the greens for her party every year. And I'm not lying to you that I would make so many greens that I need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling y'all the truth. Social media went ham because Kamala Harris said that she had washed so many collard greens that she had to wash them in the bathtub. So, Devo, I heard a chuckle. Why is there a chuckle? You just say that again. You said what?
Why did social media go goofy?
Well, because people with they
bathtub, being the issue.
Yeah. Okay. And so it was kind of interesting because people just went crazy, and so people were hitting me up like, "Did you see this? Oh my God!" But I could tell the difference between younger people that I knew and older people that I knew. Mm-hmm. First of all, Kamala Harris is 60 years old. Mm-hmm. So while she looks fabulous moving around out on the trail, people got to be conscientious of the fact that this sister is 60 years old. You've lived in different times. Everybody didn't always have double sinks. Everybody didn't always have, even huge sinks. These farm sinks and stuff that you see now. Mm-hmm. And so people would bleach their tub down and make sure it was thoroughly clean and then go in there and wash all them greens in that bathtub at one time. Instead of, because you know how many times you got to clean greens and rinse that water, drain that water and fill it back up and start all over again if you ain't nasty. And then especially if you got them greens from down south.
The worst thing in the world is some gritty greens.
Gritty. Ooh. And then, like you see that sometimes even have the little worms that rise to the top. It depending on where you got your greens, the farmer's market or whatever. And so I could not believe I spent some of my time yesterday responding to messages telling people, y'all, she doing too much. Oh, that's nasty. No, it's not. And then I mentioned it to some older people yesterday. Somebody said, I wash mine in the kitchen sink. Yeah, depending on how many you got, though. Because if you're doing greens for a holiday party, and it's 50, 60 people at the holiday party, and I'm not trying to be here all day, and depending on what size sink I have, I might have washed them in the tub. People were so through with me yesterday because I would not join the bandwagon of trying to be appalled. And I'm like, but did I hear you weigh in on her policy on healthcare? Did I hear you weigh in her policy on X, Y, and Z? Don't get distracted with nonsense. Keep your eye on what is important about these candidates. And that's what we will do. And everybody that's listening to me that uses Facebook, you know it. You can post something on Facebook about some nonsense. It'll get 1,000, 2,000 views. You can say happy birthday. 27,000 people got something to say. But post something serious about, economic policy, a situation. I don't care what it is. And you'll get 2 little shares or 2 little views. And you like, well, dang. Because we always go for the easy, low-hanging fruit. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I'm older, and just let me turn this radio down.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. I'm older, and I know people that wash them in the washing machine.
I have heard that before, too.
They go through the wash cycle first, And after that, they start the greens and they wash them and put them in the freezer.
Mm. Yep.
So,
You made me
that's
think.
nothing
I have heard
strange.
that before.
Yeah. And me being much older, Michelle, my mom used to wash them, I think, in the wash tub.
Yes.
Pick them off the field, put them in the wash tub, and wash them. And we never thought anything about it, but I guess you would call it nasty if you're younger. I suppose mine would think it's nasty too, but their mother ate a lot of them out the wash machine and the wash tub.
Well, thank you for that, and I appreciate the call. I actually mentioned this to some folks that were in their early 70s yesterday, and they said, "No, you wash them in that wash tub, but make no mistake, it's the same wash tub that you took a bath in."
Right. Same difference.
And actually said the number 2 wash tub. I was like, wash tubs had a number. Yes, that good old number 2 wash tub is what somebody else said. Greens washed in the tub all the time. So I just, but it was so much. It was so overwhelming that I'm like, it's easy to get distracted. Now, I mean, it made for good conversation, and just back and forth, and you could, like I said, you could tell a generational difference. But y'all, there are real reasons we got to talk about why we are voting and supporting the candidates that we do. This morning, I am having a conversation, scheduled to have a conversation with a brother by the name of Wendell Pierce. Now, some of you will know right away who Wendell Pierce is. Like, immediately, you will know who he is. I always, it's not fair. But when I think of Wendell Pierce, I always go to Waiting to Exhale. I wish I could move beyond Waiting to Exhale. But he was Leela Rashawn's love interest in Waiting to Exhale. And he was just so endearing in that role that I always go there. But this brother, who has a catalog that includes The Wire, has starred in any number of productions and movies. He is phenomenal. But he also is someone that has been paying attention politically for a number of years about what's going on around the country. Debo, is there a clip that I can play from Wendell Pierce? Yep. Can you play that one?
I'm here with Wendell Pierce, a famed actor from shows like The Wire and many others. And Wendell, thank you so much for joining us here today. Really great speaking with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Are you looking forward to Kamala as a potential president and Walz as vice president?
Absolutely. I'm in full campaign mode for them. You know, I've been raising money. I've been going around campaigning. And so I'm really excited about it. I love the ticket. I love their policies. I think it's great for the working class. And I want to protect some of the freedoms that I feel are being taken away.
And with Walz and Harris coming in, and we had Biden dropping out of the race, did that energize the party, do you think?
It obviously did, yeah. I was a full supporter of Biden, but I didn't know what was going to happen when she stepped down, but the immediacy of people's excitement just go to show you that it was pent up and waiting to be released. And so ultimately the decision was not only noble, but very effective. And so I think the party is energized and we're ready to leave here in 2 days and go out and on the campaign trail and hopefully get them elected on November 5th.
And as far as the undecided voter, do you think that Harris will appeal to those maybe who want an alternative to Trump, maybe those independents and others?
Absolutely. It's a clear contrast, just the mere fact that she has policies and he doesn't. Everyone talks about, her economic policy that was kind of announced and launched on Friday. I like this part, I hate that part, and people were critiquing it back and forth. And I said, well, what do you think about Trump's policy? And most people couldn't even tell you what the policy is, except, extending the tax cut to the ultra wealthy. But and so I feel as though all we have to do is put our platform out there and put her out there, and there's a clear contrast. And so it will be a very defining election because it will say and state what our values are,
Wendell Pierce, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So I wanted you all to hear that clip from him because when we were looking at the DNC that just occurred a couple of weeks ago now, Wendell Pierce was one of the folks that was prominent. A lot of people recognized him walking through the hallways. And I thought about like him speaking at the DNC, Kerry Washington speaking at the DNC. And there were folks like, why are these celebrities involved? It almost reminded me of when old girl over at Fox News had talked about athletes weighing in politically and said, these people need to just go shut up and dribble. Like, because of my chosen profession, I don't get to have an opinion. I don't get to care about politics. I loved what Kerry Washington said when she spoke. I'm standing up here today as a mother and as a union member and as somebody that cares about the direction of this country. There was something else, though, that happened to Wendell Pierce that I just want people to take a listen to. Debo, can I bring up my own computer? All right, let's go.
The award-winning actor Wendell Pierce entered the conversation around diversity when he tweeted a fiery message of solidarity to the women of the Fearless Fund, who we featured on this show, as a federal appeals court came down last week halting one of his grant programs after an anti-diversity group claimed it was a civil rights violation for centering Black women entrepreneurs. Joining me now is Tony Award-winning actor Wendell Pierce. Wendell, thanks for being here. We followed the struggles of the Fearless Fund over the last year since they were first sued by an anti-diversity group claiming their grant program for Black women entrepreneurs was a civil rights violation. I spent a lot of time with the women behind the fund as head of National Action Network. Even I had rallies and marched with them, and they were at our march on Washington. And they're plotting their next step after federal appeals courts altered the program last week. What was it specifically about their story that made you speak out as diversity is being attacked nationwide by conservatives?
Well, the thing that just made me incensed was, as a businessman myself, a believer in the free market and the free enterprise, there's a saying that all business folks in America say, you don't tell me how to spend my money. And the fact that Black women came together to help other Black entrepreneurs, I think is a noble thing and a good thing. And to have this organization led by Edward Blum actively going out to stop what they say they want to see people do, pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. And I just was incensed that it was so anti-American, that decision, that I felt like I should use my platform to shed some light on it, that not enough people knew about it, that this was a stealth attack, really, to our community. That what happened with the Supreme Court decision last year, the year before, ending affirmative action was the Pandora box that opened it up. And this is a private group wanting to support another private individuals and being stopped by someone who didn't even have anyone in the case to be injured. And so that incensed me, and I just decided to speak out.
No one injured. Now, your post about the Fearless Fund came out of an experience you claim you had last year when you were denied an apartment rental here in Harlem by a white landlord. Would you elaborate on what happened?
My younger cousin, graduated from Howard. He was coming to get his first job in New York City, and and I was going to support him in getting an apartment since it was his first job. I gave them all of my credentials, my bank statements, my tax returns, how much money I had earned over the last couple of years. And I saw that this was and I was denied. And I was denied. I'm on 2 television shows right now, Reverend Sharpton. I'm shooting a film, Superman, right now. I just finished. I'm doing Superman. I just finished 4 years of Jack Ryan overseas, all around the world. And that still wasn't good enough. And then I offered them to pay the entire year's rent in advance. And that wasn't good enough for them. And then that's
turned down an entire year's
rent in advance, the term of the contract. And so I realized then that reminded me of everything that my parents and their generation went through, that Moses generation that gave me a great responsibility as a part of the Joshua generation to continue fighting the fights that they had gone through. I'm from Pontchartrain Park in New Orleans, Louisiana. It only came about because Black folks were denied access to the burgeoning post-World War II suburbia. My father fought in the Battle of Saipan. You know, Mr. Berkshire was just here talking about Black veterans. He's going to celebrate his 80th anniversary, June 15th. He came back and he wasn't allowed to purchase a home wherever he wanted to in New Orleans. So they started the advocacy of to fight against housing discrimination and created Pontchartrain Park. Right? It became a thriving Black middle class, working class neighborhood of New Orleans. It's on the National Register of Historic Places now. And I have a great responsibility to them to never lose the ability to be offended. When I see something like this happen, not only to me, I gave that as an antidote so people would understand the fights that we have. They recognize something in that story that connected with them. They were, by the grace of God, go I. And that shed the light on what's happening with the Fearless Fund. It's a concerted effort to stop Black folks from having a fulfilled life.
That's why it is so important to me to call out people like Congressman Daniels, who says something in any way, shape, or form that acts like Jim Crow was not the impediment to Blacks and Black families being able to do what other families could do in this country, including people like your father that fought for this country.
Absolutely, fought and loved this country when this country didn't love them back. And the thing that is so insidious about it is the fact that they're using laws that were in place at the end of the 19th century to protect those African Americans who were newly freed out of enslavement so that they can participate in contracts, in personal private contracts, and they wouldn't be discriminated against. And that's a concerted effort, this racist irony of we're going to use the law that protected them to actually impede them now, 150 years later. And if we don't speak out, we are going to fall victim to a very stealth, very well organized, very well funded effort to stop what's happening, progression in the Black community when it comes to education, opportunities in business and healthcare, whatever. This law, if this ruling is allowed to go on, we're saying that if I wanted to help a disabled athlete go to the Paralympics, I can't do that because it's discriminated against someone who is able-bodied. That's the craziness, the irony in it. And so we can't let that happen. And as you well know, there was a saying in the civil rights movement, when evil people plot, good people have to plan. And that's what I'm trying to shed light on.
What do you challenge people from your platform, respected, award-winning actor? You don't have to speak out. Unfortunately, there are not many doing what you're speaking out doing. What should people be doing to stop this?
First of all, become aware of it. Right? Most people don't even know about the Fearless Fund case. That Black women who want to support other Black women in business aren't allowed to do it. You don't tell J.P. Morgan they can't create an investment fund or go into new market tax credits or anything like that because they're supporting someone that they want to support. If you want to, we have funds on Wall Street where if you want to support companies that are only doing climate change, you can because that's your interest. And to say that you can't support Black women, specifically to go after Black folks who want to support Black folks.
Who have been discriminated against in terms of getting money.
Only 1% of the $300 billion spent in capital venture in this country last year was given to Black women. So Black women said, we're going to get ourselves together and support ourselves. And then you have people who are stealthily coming to attack them. I ask people to become aware of it, because it's under the radar. We need to shed light on it. Support organizations like the LDF, the National Association of the NAACP, Legal Defense Fund. Support your organization when it comes to housing discrimination. I didn't pursue it, but I knew that there are organizations like the National Fair Housing Alliance that does that sort of work to protect you. So we have over generations put into place the blueprint and organizations to combat and fight this. All I ask is that people join the fight. This is a clarion call, a call to action. When evil people plot, good people have to plan.
All right, family. So that was a clip from MSNBC, Reverend Al Sharpton Show, Politics Nation, and Wendell Pierce talking about, some of the issues that have this brother engaged and locked in. We were expecting to have him on the air this morning. Doesn't look like we are going to be able to pull it off in my time slot. Maybe if he still is available, we can get him in Keith's show. Don't know what Keith has planned for this morning, but it is one of those things that I wanted our community to hear and to understand. When you see some of these celebrities out and people talking, I don't care on which side of the track, but in the case of a Kamala Harris, when you hear people talking, that these are not just actors, these are not just, celebrities, and people like, you don't have nothing in common with me. What did this man say? I was willing to put up an entire year's, the length of the contract, a 1-year lease. I'll pay you up front, all the money up front, and still couldn't get rented to. What did he say? My father came back from serving in the military. And when it was time for him to use his GI loan to be able, or the GI Bill, to be able to purchase a house, he was denied. You denied the areas you want to live in. So the spaces that you want to be, everybody is impacted. And even wealthy people, communities of color, it doesn't matter. Any and everybody can be impacted. But as a brother who talks about these challenges and these issues, that's the part that just always gets me. And I just value and I respect so much, is because this is a man who, by all accounts, is doing okay financially. I don't have to turn around and look and see what's going on with the rest of the neighborhood and back in the community, but I'm connected. I'm not good if y'all not good. If we could just remember that. I'm not good if they not good. So he is actually going to be in Milwaukee. The Harris Wells campaign has been doing what they call Black Men Vote Weekends of Action. We are having one here in Milwaukee and in the Wisconsin area. And tomorrow there's going to be an event that is being held at 6 p.m. There are going to be special guests. Wendell Pierce is supposed to be one of those individuals. And there will be opportunities to learn about how you can get engaged, volunteer, haircuts, giveaways. And it's a special edition of Barbershop Talks. It's a special edition of Barbershop Talks. There's a place that you can register for it. I will see if I can put it up on my Facebook page. But if you, let me see, I'm trying to figure out the best way. That's a leadership call. Okay. I will figure out how to see where exactly they're going to be. But special edition of Barbershop Talks. And I'm trying to figure out how to get this out there. I'll figure it out. One of the things that folks have said is we are not talking enough to brothers. We are not talking enough to Black men about what's at stake and what's important. I appreciate that they got brothers coming in to do that. Now, let me take a second because I got to end early today. But let me take a second because somebody sent me a message. And they said, and this goes back to Kamala Harris and the collard greens thing. They said, Michelle, that's called pandering and lying. I guess chalk this up to listening to a Tupac album 2 years before the release. This shows you she isn't Black. Yet again, When someone is so in the tank for a party, I wouldn't expect less. Also, if this was Mandela, it would be a problem. Also, she doesn't have any policies per her website. Are you going to talk about that atrocious interview? So let me just take a sec. I'm trying to figure out, why is it pandering? Because I told the truth about one of my experiences if I'm Kamala Harris. See, this is people who are talking, who don't appreciate necessarily that this woman's experiences are the same as many others. And it's a lot of younger people who don't know what the hell they're talking about in some cases, because there are Black people after Black people of a certain age and generation that this is not foreign. When she said we had so many people coming, it was an annual Christmas Eve party. So many people attended. I clean the greens in the wash in the bathtub. There are people that completely relate to that. When that sister called in and said, my mama used to wash greens in the wash machine, there are people that know that that's true. I know I've heard that before. Because if you've ever actually cleaned greens and didn't go to the store and buy them already pre-chopped, if you ever actually had to pick greens, break them stems out, because I don't cook greens with the stem in them, and sit there and clean them greens and roll and cut and do everything, you know, that process is hours, not minutes. It's hours to properly and thoroughly clean greens. If I'm doing it for a huge party, I'm going to use the biggest thing I have available to me. So that's not pandering, because I chose to tell the truth about my experience and lying. What's the lie? What's the lie? So the other part of that, this shows you she isn't Black. No, it shows the person who sent me the text message that I want to say that you ignorant, but I ain't going to say that. What I will say is this shows that you on some nonsense. Somebody talks about their experiences, and what? She too light-skinned for us to believe she cooked collard greens, or she cooked them she had to clean them in the bathtub. Like, what about this woman, continues to perplex some of y'all so much that she's not Black enough? All nonsense. And then I went to the website and I didn't see any policy. You don't have 4 years to see Kamala Harris in action. You have had 4. Now, there will be some policy differences between her and Joe Biden, but it's not going to be a ton of light in between the two of them. So all of these people, and this is nothing but a Trump talking point, a Fox talking point. Where's the policy? Where's the policy? Donald Trump ain't got nothing but stupid policies that he has mentioned, but for the most part, no meat, no substance, no details. None. But the same way he got a record to go back and look at, Kamala along with Joe Biden, there are clear policies. There are policies on education, policies on healthcare, policies on prescription drugs, policies on infrastructure programming. There are policies. So it's not like this woman is a foreign entity. Nobody knows who she is and what she's about. And then, so the hit, because I said Mandela's campaign didn't have any policies on their website. Evidently, I wasn't wrong, because after I said it, within a week, all of a sudden, the website was full of policy positions. That's because nobody knew what Mandela's policy prescriptives would be at a U.S. Senate level, because as lieutenant governor, you weren't out generating policy. In the state assembly, there was 4 years of never having passed the bill. So while there was some policy, prescriptives that we could attribute to your name, things that you signed on to or introduced, there needed to be information. Where are you on this, and this? Because he hadn't been a member of the state assembly for a minute. So, if you're going to do tit for tat and apples for apples, at least make sure you know what you're doing. There is a record on Kamala Harris in connection with her leadership with Joe Biden in her role as vice president. So no, I don't have to stress out about where are all the policy prescriptives, because I pretty much know where this woman lands. It's going to be some differences. As she talked about, I've evolved and changed on some issues. People are permitted to do that. I've done it. Hopefully you've done it. Go back and revisit the way I think about something. And like, you know what? I'm actually evolving on that, or I've changed. As she said, my values are the same, but I see things differently sometimes. And grown folks and adults in the room can acknowledge when I need to shift the way I'm doing or thinking about an issue. So, you know, while I appreciate the text message, it was a wasted text message on me. It was wasted. Because it's not hard to figure out where Kamala Harris is on a ton of issues. All that information is out there. You're not pandering and lying when you talk about your personal experiences, of which none of you know, unless you was with her. Somebody said it's kind of, the same person said it's kind of like saying it was hot sauce in my purse. Hillary Clinton is from the South. Now, she might have just been playing, having fun. I don't know. But Hillary Clinton don't have nothing to do with Kamala Harris. Grow up, bro. How many people eat collard greens? How many Indian people eat collard greens? How many Jamaican people eat them? Because she's not 100% Indian. But do you know what the data is? Do you know? But why we keep ignoring the fact that her daddy is Jamaican? Man, stop being stupid. I go. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later this afternoon. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Debo, thank you, bruh. Carvey, I'm glad you're safe. Family, I'll talk to you later.